Hello, in this video we will learn how to install .NET 11 Preview 5 at the moment, and a few things about how you use these preview versions, what you should look out for, how you install it in Visual Studio, with Visual Studio, and standalone if you want to try and run it somewhere on the server and things of that nature. So, first of all, you need, of course, Visual Studio that actually supports the .NET 11 in this case. So you go to your installer, Visual Studio installer, and what you need to do is go to Available, and you will see Visual Studio Community 2026 Insiders. You need the Insiders edition that supports all the previews, not just Visual Studio previews, but framework previews as they come along. So here you can export import configurations from your existing community edition or whatever edition you have. On this computer we have community. You might have some other ones installed here, but you go to Available and you install Insiders Edition. So you click install, and then all the choices you make is, of course, all that you need. This will require an update, so let's get back to after that and let's see what choices we have. And it will be pretty similar to the normal one, but there are some differences. So now that we've updated and we can install, we can choose the options. And again, this is a sort of separate instance, so whatever is installed in your normal one, it will be a different choice. And if you don't need everything, don't install everything, because you do need to update this quite often. And obviously, this is now called Insiders Edition, but this is essentially Preview Edition, so it may not be as stable as your real Visual Studio, and do be careful about that. Just like you should be careful about the versions of the .NET, the preview ones, this is the same thing. So this will allow you to have better experience with .NET 11, but not necessarily help you actually use .NET 11 these days, right? So let's select the web. It's of most straightforward thing, and we can also select all these other things, and this is quite important. You should take a look at what's actually available, because maybe some things are not pre-selected, something that you want to test, something that's not available yet. So always do check those things, because it will be perhaps different compared to the regular edition. And we can probably add the Azure AI SDK. We might have a few videos on that, and maybe we'll use this computer for that work. But again, we check all these things. And other than that, you have all the individual components. We have .NET 10 runtime. We will need that probably to compare a few things, perhaps not. But you see, when you go to .NET runtime, all of these, we have 8, we have 9, we have all the sort of in support ones, all the live ones, right? The preview versions we didn't have. We'll need to install that separately, and all the other things are available again, just like in the normal edition. So it's something to watch out for. We installed it, the Insiders Edition, to have that experience, right, for the latest available experience, to match the latest available preview version, but we would actually need to install the .NET 11 separately. Everything else is the same. So now we click install and we can get started. Now that we have it installed, you can see there's going to be projects available, whatever you installed, just like the old one. Nothing really changes in this one. But if we go here and create some project, let's go a bit further, you can see we still don't have the .NET 11. So now we need to go to this website, .net.microsoft.com, and the downloads, this will be linked below in the description, just so you can easily find this. You can search it on Google these days. It's not as difficult to find it as it used to be. But basically, you have lots of options, and you have lots of preview options as well. You might have that. So something quite important, whatever you do, you should always use the latest preview versions. And again, it's not like going from .NET 5 to .NET 6 or .NET Core to .NET 5. The difference is probably won't change too much, and between preview versions, things won't change too much, but you should always keep the latest one, and when you switch the versions, again, some things might break, but probably not this time around. So in this case, we want SDK 11 Preview 5. And there's a few different options. So just for running things, you can use Windows. If you're on Windows, right, the x64, you download that, you install that. That's what's gonna make it all available. Now, we do have desktop runtime, we have runtime, we have some other options, and you can see we have older options as well. But for hosting, for example, not in Linux, not in Docker. For that, you just you can use the builds, and the best way, of course, to do it would be via pipelines. But if you host on Windows Server, for example, on iOS, you'll need the hosting bundle as usual. That's what you need to install. But other than that, you just take x64 and you have those projects available after you have this. Now, it's good to verify, of course, that you have it installed, but if you don't see the version, that means it's not installed. If you see the version, it will be installed. So let's install and let's take a look. The installer is just an executable file, so you can click install, and that will start your installation. It will be done in a second. Perhaps it might take a few minutes, perhaps not, depending on what you already have, what your machine is like. But that's all you need to do as far as the installer is just a simple executable file. Now that we have .NET 11 installed, you also notice a few more projects, new projects available with the Insider Edition and .NET 11. So something to sort of important to remember. We'll have a few videos on those new features as well in the coming weeks. You have MCP server app and some other interesting things, but just to verify, you always want to do a simple one. Console app and go next, and now you have .NET 11 preview. So that should work perfectly. If it doesn't work, make sure you download it, make sure you installed the latest .NET 11 SDK preview, as well as the latest Insider Edition. Now, these are preview editions, so they may clash. And of course, when you install and open, make sure you close it and then install SDK, right? So because you need to essentially restart the SDK itself, or rather the Visual Studio itself. But other than that, it should work perfectly fine. And if you have any questions, comment in the comments, and look forward for those new videos on the new features in .NET 11.